For all my wrongs I tried. Never let me be alone. Stay with me from dusk till dawn.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to the Mari Mukonda show. This is the Tuesday edition, and I am your host, Mari Mukonda. And welcome to the show. Thank you for joining me. It is a pleasure to be with you once again. It is the 9th of June, 2020. And if you are celebrating your birthday, happy birthday to you. All right, so coming up on the show today, I'm going to be chatting to Andeline Selferson, who is the founder of Munchkins. She's also an author and a parenting coach. And today we're talking about mommy burnout. So if you have any idea or if you have no idea what mommy burnout is, then, do tune in because you're going to find out exactly what it is. Some of us have it, some of us don't. And I think situations like the COVID-19 pandemic and staying at home during the lockdown has made many of us get mommy burnout. 11:35, I'll be chatting to Maria Mkanda Mkanyana about finding love online. Well, finding love online is the new age thing. It's something that many of us are getting involved into, something that many of us are finding to compared to the traditional and old ways of, meeting someone at work or at school or getting your families to bring the two of you together, etc. Because after all, we are Muslims, so we don't do all of that, right? Yeah. And then our hit list for today is the CEO of Lemoc Group. They have launched their Libra smartphone last year, December, and Lebogang Mokubela will be joining me to chat about his journey and telling us more about Africa's smartphone. Well, who would have thought? But yes, it is happening, and Africa will be soon taking over the rest of the world. And we end off the show with Peter Uko, who is the CEO of Tobacco, Alcohol, and Gambling Advisory Advocacy and Action Group South Africa. And he will be talking about how the lockdown has helped many people quit smoking. So that is the lineup for today. If you have any comments, queries, questions, or suggestions, you can send them to us on WhatsApp. The number is 061-766-0355. Alternatively, you can leave the comments in the comment section below. Remember, we are also live on Facebook for your viewing pleasure. You can view it now or later, and that's the best part. Also, do let me know what you think about my new background. I'm trying. I know some of you had an issue with the previous background that was just not doing it, but I've decided to do something different. Yesterday I had the print only, and today I've decided to just switch things up a bit so that I'm not too stuck in the print. All right, so Andeline is on the line right now, and we're going to be talking about burnout, mommy burnout. Good morning, Andeline. Thank you for joining me once again.
Oh, it's such a pleasure to see you this morning. I've just been out for a glorious walk out in Simonstown. It's just beautiful out here today.
Oh, that's awesome. And at least people can now walk out throughout the day, anytime. So yeah, that's a good thing. All right. Mommy burnouts. What is it?
It's burnout. End of my tether. Can't do this anymore. Screaming out into the night.
Yes.
There's so much expected of moms, and I always say that we've got to realize that men are made to function as providers, and women do nurturing so well, but then they take on too much. They just want to nurture, and men want to solve a problem, and women want to just love up and cuddle and, make excuses and take on baking an apple pie and a leg of lamb, and the kids are screaming, and the husband's come home with a lot of stress. And we've got to be a psychologist, we've got to be a gardener, we've got to be a, something of everything. And it's so easy when you've got little kids in the home to just reach a point where your whole life, your whole identity just revolves around taking care of them and making sure that your husband is happy and okay. And you forget about yourself. You forget about looking after yourself. And if you're not happy, how can everybody else be happy? If you're not filling your own love tank, nobody else is going to do it. You have to be the one to look after yourself. And I love that saying that says, don't let the key of your happiness lie in somebody else's pocket. It's really important that you take that key, you take hold of it and be in charge of your own happiness and not expect your husband to make you happy. I always say to kids when they fight, they're like, oh, my brother made me angry. So I said, how did he do that? Did he put a bullet to your head? No, he made me angry. He did blah, 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 blah. And then I'll say, no, you chose to get angry. It was your choice. That he tried to make you angry, but it was your choice to react and respond to that. And with parents, I think some adults don't know that. They don't realize that they have the choice to burn out or not to burn out. It's what you're allowing, it's what you're taking on that's making you burn out. You've got to stop and say no. Realize that you're allowed to say no to some things, right?
So what are the signs to be aware of if one has burnout?
Right, that's a good question, because at the moment we've got so many signs from lockdown that we get confused about the two, because right now lockdown feels like a major burnout, doesn't it? And it's a roller coaster, the corona coaster they're calling it. And some days you're fine, some days you're enjoying it, and some days it's like, hey, I could do this all the time, and other days it's like, I can't do this anymore. So be aware of your emotions. Be aware that you're feeling sad. And that sadness, we teach our kids emotional intelligence by helping them to put a word to an emotion. And if you can identify that sadness more defined, right? Because you get sad, angry, you get sad, worried, you get sad, depressed. There's so many words that you can put under sad. If you can more clearly identify what is it that I'm feeling, then it's easier to solve the problem. So let's say you're sad or your burnout is because you feel like everybody wants a piece of you and there's people around you all the time and you never get time alone. There we go. Then the solution to that is carve out time alone. Carve out a time for yourself in a day. It's just like if you're at the office, you make an appointment with somebody. Nobody breaks that appointment. You've made an appointment from 3 o'clock till 4 o'clock. The kids can't interrupt you. Your husband can't phone you. You've made an appointment with somebody to see somebody. Well, make an appointment with yourself and say, this is my time. I don't care if it's 15 minutes that you can carve out in the morning and 15 in the afternoon or whatever. If you're feeling overwhelmed, call a time out. Call it time. We call it taking a moment. At Munchkins, when we are coaches, when we go into homes and help people with their children, we tell children and parents to say, I need to take a moment. And that's taking a moment before you reach the point of exploding. That's the moment that you call before you reach burnout. Is you go, stop, everybody, I need to take a moment. Now, you've had Celeste on the air a few times now. She's got a wonderful way of doing this with her 3 kids. She'll say, guys, I need to take a moment. And they all splatter. If one didn't hear it, they run to the third child and they go, Mommy's taking a moment. Don't go into that room. Mommy's taking a moment. And she does that before she gets angry, before she feels overwhelmed. She takes a moment. And even her husband knows, okay, step away from the mommy. It's time to let her have a moment. But I want to reiterate, it's before you lose it. It's not after you've lost it. Preempt it. And the same with your kids. Try and pick up that moment where you see like it's building up, they're about to have a fight, they're feeling overwhelmed. Say, you know what, sweetie, I think you need to go take a moment. And let them go and find a spot. I don't care if it's in a dark cupboard with a flashlight. Get into some womb space, get into fetal position somewhere, and just meditate, calm, music, read, whatever it takes for you to breathe and calm down. Have a little corner, a little place where you can call your own. My mom used to be, we were 5 kids in 5.5 years, and she used to go take a bath and soak. And I know Celeste likes doing that too with series. She'll be like, that's it, in the bath, bubble bath series. That's my moment as well. That's my don't talk to me moment. It's bubble bath and series. And we weren't allowed to even knock on that door when she was in the bath. And I never understood it then. I was just like, okay, well, that's the rule. But now I understand it. You know, having had 4 children, I understand that you need to do that before burnout. So listen to your body. Listen to your body. If you're getting shaky, if you feel that uneasiness in your gut, if you feel like the pressure is mounting at the back of your head, if you just feel weak and unnaturally tired, not just tired from a normal day's work or normal with the kids, listen to your body and say, you know what, guys, I need to take a moment. Nobody come in this room, just calmly. Because if you're angry, they focus on your anger instead of your need to take a moment. You also have to remember that you're modeling behavior. So you're modeling for them that that's a good way to handle my emotions is step away, breathe and relax, and come back and deal with the situation.
So now what happens after you've had your burnout and you did not preempt it and you lashed out at all the kids and the husband and everybody else around, and now you realize that, okay, I think I need to take a moment?
Yeah, that then you need a longer moment.
Yeah.
So when you picked up the pieces of the plate that you've thrown against the wall and you clean up the mess that you made from burnout, then you need to, once you're calm, is go back and apologize and acknowledge that, you know what, I didn't handle that too well. And mommy shouldn't have thrown the glass. Mommy shouldn't have shouted at you. I'm so sorry. In the future, the way I'm going to choose to handle it is I'm going to take a moment. So please forgive me. I'm sorry. It's not the moment to point a finger at everybody else for what they did that caused you to go to burnout, because nobody forces you to get to burnout. It's because management, if I can call it that, of calling your own nose, calling your own time out, being aware of the fact that you're in charge of that. And everybody else is pushing and pushing and taking a piece of you, and you're not saying no. I find women struggle with that word no. They really battle. They feel like they have to say yes, okay, yes, all right, okay, all the time. And I want to give moms permission to say no, to say I've had enough, to say I'm tired, so that they can re-energize and give to their family. How can you give out of an empty vessel? You've got no more to give. So you've got to top that up, and you've got to be very clear about what it takes for somebody else to help you. So let's say, typical situation, you're piled up with work and everything, and your spouse comes into the room and you wish he would just pick up those dirty clothes off the floor, and you wish he would take the kids and go play outside with them, but you don't say it, right? You think he's a mind reader. You think he knows exactly, and you go, but he should know. No, he's not clairvoyant. He needs to hear it from your lips. Honey, I need you to just take the kids outside for a little while. Would you be okay with that? Honey, please, can you just put a load of washing in the machine? I'm really reaching a point where I'm feeling like I'm not coping. You know, I had a group of women, and I asked each one of them, how would they like to be treated after a busy day, after bad day, what would they like from their husbands after a horrible day, after a terrible day that they've had? How would they like their husbands to treat you? You know, Miriam, each one of them had a different answer to that question. Each of them. One of them would say, I just want to blurt it out when he walks out into the room. I just want to vomit my bad day. I'd go to the next one. She said, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. I want a glass of wine and sit out on the porch and let him deal with the kids for 50 minutes. Another one would say, I don't want to talk about it at all. It was my day. It's over and done with. I want to just get on with the evening. Another one would say, I want the kids in bed, then I want a bubble bath with my husband, and I want to then defuse. I want to then hear what he would say, what I should have done. Another one says, I don't want his opinion about it. I just want him to listen. Now, the point is, what do you want? What do you need to defuse the situation? Your spouse doesn't know. And when I asked them, I said, okay, all of you have had a total different way of wanting to be dealt with in a situation like this, because we're all different temperaments. And remember, we marry somebody opposite. So how are they supposed to know what you want? I said, how many of you have been honest enough to tell your husband very clearly, in clear English, that a man can understand, what your needs are, or how you would like to be treated on a day where it hasn't been a really good day for you? Do you know that one person raised their hand and said, we've had that clear conversation of what I'd love you to do when you come home? That's all, just one. And the others were like, but he should know, you know. No, he doesn't. He doesn't. You wish he would, but he doesn't. And I'm sure he wants to. 99% of them want to do the right thing and want to be able to, but they will tend to do what they want done to them instead of doing what is good for you. So communication is very important. You need to communicate what your needs are, how you'd like to be treated after a bad day. Or burnout.
Well, I think there's a long way we still have to go, especially when it comes to speaking to our partners. Effective communication does go a long way because, I mean, like you said, how will they know what we want when we just, we're doing everything basically. And to them, it's just like, oh, no, I'm just going to leave the clothes here because it's going to get done anyways. And we get upset because of that, but we don't tell them, look, please just pick it up. I mean, it's not that difficult. All right.
And it's not pick it up. It's, sweetie, I'd really appreciate it if you wouldn't throw your clothes on the floor. It really makes me feel like I'm a servant instead of being appreciated. Something like that. Get it right and choose your timing right of when you say it.
So can burnout lead to a bigger problem if it's not dealt with?
Well, absolutely, because then it goes further into depression and it spirals. It spirals down and down and down because, our minds are very powerful, Miriam. Our minds, we've got such power in between our ears. And we're the only ones that can change our mind, right? Nobody else can change your mind for you. So you need to be able to think clearly. And to do that, you've got to have time to meditate, to be on your own, to think things through, because that burnout is going to be irrational. It's going to be emotional decisions that you make when you're in burnout. And emotional decisions don't get you anywhere. That you normally make the wrong choice if you're making an emotional decision. So we want to recognize that we're in burnout, acknowledge it, and get help. And whether it's your partner or professional help or just a time away, recognize that you need help. But reach out. Stop thinking that you can do it on your own. We're made to be relational, Miriam. That's how we are created. We don't like being isolated, especially emotionally. So find someone that you can connect with on an emotional level to be able to be honest. And hopefully that's your spouse. But if it's not, then find somebody else, a good friend, a practitioner, that you can sometimes it just helps to just blurt it all out and you get perspective, or to write it out. If you're upset about something, write it out. Just don't send that email. Just store it and edit it when you feel better. But speak about it. Don't keep it all in. It builds resentment.
And it's true, I think I'm a person who likes writing things down, and writing does help, sort of relieve the stress. And I go back to it and read it. I'm like, oh, that actually happened, or I was feeling like that. Oh, okay, well, I feel much better now. All right, so Andeline, does Munchkins have information on how mommies can cope with their burnout?
Absolutely. We've got lots of articles on the website, www.munchkins.me, munchkins.me. And Celeste actually wrote a lovely article on mommy burnout, and it's on our website. I think she did a podcast on it as well, so they can just look it up. And there's lots of information there to help so that you don't reach burnout. Tools to help, ideas to do with your kids. And of course, we're just a phone call away, a Zoom call away to help you in your home with your specific problems as well.
All right, that sounds like an awesome idea. Once again, thank you so much for your time and for the information. Have a lovely day.
Thank you, Miriam. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Not Celeste, but Andeline Salverson, the founder of Munchkins, and also a parenting coach. If you are looking for more information on mommy burnout and how to cope and tips that you can use, to go to munchkins.me, and you'll find lots of information there, articles as well as podcasts. And you can share the tips and tricks with your other mommy friends, and well, let's help each other cope with mommy burnout. We all want to be awesome moms, we don't want to be the dragon lady that all the kids are afraid of because we aren't coping with our mommy burnout. And also thank you to Maria Mohammed for the comments. Well, I can also relate with mommy burnout, and my child is only 2 years old, but you know what they say about terrible twos. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to take some more time out for myself. So you are listening to the Maria Mukwanda Show on Salam Media, and do stay with us. We will be back after the break.